Hey there, this is Anthony from mycodeteacher.com, and in this lesson we're going to create a mini iPod application. So in the 3.0 version of the iPhone SDK, Apple added some new objects or classes to the media player framework, one of which is the MP Music Player controller that allows you to play songs from the iPod music library that a user has on their iPhone or iPod Touch. So basically what we'll do is we will, in a way, steal songs from that library of iPod songs and play it from our own application. So, of course, Xcode's open and we're going to create a new window-based project. We'll call it Music Player. So the very first thing we need to do is we need to add the media player framework. So by default, if we select the frameworks group folder here, you see that by default, an application, when it's first created, is bundled with the Core Graphics Framework, the Foundation Framework, and the UIKit Framework. We need to add the Media Player Framework because that includes the MP Music Player controller, which is what we need, again, to use to play music from the iPod library. So we go to Add, and then select Add, and then go to Existing Frameworks. And we have a folder here of all the frameworks we can add. Now, if you aren't in this folder and having trouble finding it, which wouldn't be surprising because it's sort of hidden if you don't know where to look, select this here and you can see the entire path to this frameworks folder. So you start at the root folder of your hard drive, and you go into Developer, then Platforms, then iPhone OS.platform, then Developer again, then SDKs, then iPhone OS 3.0.SDK, then System, Library, and then finally Frameworks. So I'll scroll down here and I will select the media player.framework and add it. So now we can import this into our music player app.delegate.h file and use all of its classes. Okay, so the first thing we want to do here is we want to add some instance variables to our application delegate. The first thing we want to add is an MP Music Player controller. This is the class we're going to use to play music from the iPod music library. So generally you create an iPod music player. There are two types of MP Music Player controller objects. You can create an application music player, which allows you to play music that's locally just in your application, or you can create an iPod music player that allows you to play music from the iPod library. And you give it a list of songs you want it to play, and then it plays them after you tell it to play by calling to the play method. Next, we need an MP Media Query object. A media query is basically used for grabbing that list of songs. So if we look up MP Media Query in the documentation online, see here, an MP Media Query object specifies a set of media items from the iPod library. So we have a bunch of methods here for creating a new media query object. We're going to go with songs query, and that gives us a list of songs from the iPod music library, or basically a reference to that list of songs. And then we can call to the items method here, and that returns an array of songs or MP media items that represent a song. Last, we need an NS array to store the actual list of songs. So the MP Media Query object is basically a reference or a way that we can grab those songs, and then we want to store those songs in an array. Now let's go to the application to finish launching method. And the first thing we'll do is we'll create that music player. So music player, or a player, equals MP Music Player controller iPod Music Player. Now this is a class method and it returns an iPod Music Player MP Music Player controller object. Next we want to create that query, so MP Media Query, Songs Query. And then we want to create that songs array, so we call to the media query object we just created, we send it the items message, and then it returns in an array a list of, or an array of MP media items. So let's take a look at what an MP media item is. an MP media item object represents a single piece of media, such as one song in the iPod library. So after calling to this items method here to the query object, we're given an array of media item objects, and so it's one media item object per song. Now we have that done, let's create our table view. So we want to list these songs in a table view, and then we want to allow the user to select one of the songs, and upon selecting, have that play. So let's go to Interface Builder, and actually we need to open the main window.zip file, and then let's add on the table view. So let's just drag and drop from the library here, and then we're going to connect the data source outlet and the delegate outlet. Now we want to connect the delegate outlet so that we are informed when the user does select a row. So let's implement the data source methods first. So the first, of course, is number of sections in table view. We want to return a constant 1. We're not gonna mimic the iPod application exactly, so we're not gonna have that alphabetical ordered sections. We're just gonna have one section and then just a simple list of the songs. Next, we need to implement the table view number of rows in section method. So we want to return the amount of objects in the songs array. So again, the songs array contains a bunch of songs, so the songs that we grabbed from the iPod application. And so now if we return the count of that songs array, that'll be the amount of rows we need in our table view, so 1 row per song. And then last, the table view cell for row at index path method. Now, as I do this, I assume you already know how to list data in a table view. If not, I suggest you watch the table view list data video and then come back. So first we want to check to see if the table view already used a song cell. We're going to call our cell. If not, we want to create that initial cell for use and reuse. So we're going to use the subtitle style, and that creates a cell with 2 labels. One large black left aligned label on top, and then below it a smaller gray label, also left aligned. And we're going to put the artist and the large black label on top, and the song title in the black label on top, and the artist on the gray label on the bottom. So it's going to look exactly as the iPod application's rows do. And actually, this style was taken from the iPod application by Apple and provided as a style for developers to use in their applications. So we need the reuse identifier to be song cell, and we're going to auto release it, conserve memory. Now let's set up that cell. So again, in this first label, the large black label, which we can access by calling to the text label property of the cell, we want to plug in the title of the song. So first, let's pull out that song, the song for this row. So each time the table view goes through, we want to get the appropriate song for that row. So MP media item song equals song object of songs object at index path dot row. So for each row, of course, the table view is going to call to this, and each time it's going to give us an updated row or a new row. So if we're on row 0, we want the song at index 0 from the songs array. So these songs will be ordered in the table view exactly as they are in the songs array. Now let's plug in the title of the song. So song value for property MP media item property title. So again, an MP media item object is relatively simple. It really just represents a song from the iPod music library, and there's only two methods. The one we're going to use is value for property. So we call to the media item object, and whatever we plug in for property is the data that it's going to give us for that song. So if we look, and there's a predefined list of strings you can plug in, and so you can plug in any one of these and it'll give you the appropriate value back. So we're going to plug in MP media item property title for the first label, and then we're going to use property artist for the second label. So below this, cell detail text label, text equals song value for property MP media item property artist. Now we can return the cell, save this, and now we can build. Now the iPhone simulator doesn't have a iPod application, so we need to run this on an actual iPhone or iPod Touch. I have my iPod Touch here, and we're going to build this on my iPod Touch, and I'll show you what that looks like using my built-in camera here. So build this. So you can see that I'm a pretty big Michael Jackson fan. All the songs in this list, not very many, but the title, as we wanted, is in the large black label on top, and then below it is the artist, which in this case is always Michael Jackson. So now what we need to do is we need to make it so that when a row is selected, that song is actually played. So we need to use the table view did select row at index path method, which of course the table view will call to its delegate object when a row is selected, and it'll tell it what row is selected or was selected. So table view did select row at index path. So we use index path here to find out which row was selected. And now first, again, let's grab out that song object, songs object at index path.row. So now we've grabbed the appropriate song based on the row that was selected using the object at index method, sending it to the songs array, and now we've pulled out the media item object that represents the song that was selected. Now what we need to do is we need to give that song to the music player and tell it to play the song. So a music player needs to be given an MP media item collection object containing the media items you want it to play. So let's take a look at what an MP media item collection object is in the documentation. So it says here, an MP media item collection object is a sorted set of media items from the iPod library. So we're going to create our item collection using the collection with items method. It takes an array of media items, or media item objects. So we're going to create an array with just the media item object that was selected. So we're going to have an array with just one object, and then we're going to give that to this method here, and it's going to give us back a media item collection object, and then we're going to give that to the music player and then tell it to play the media item objects or songs in that collection. So MP media item collection equals MP media item collection with items, and then again we need to make an array with just one object, the song that we pulled out. Then we need to give that to the player. Again, player is an instance variable, an MP music player controller that we made an instance of in the application did finish launching method. Now we're going to give it the item collection containing that song we want it to play. So set queue with item collection, and then simply play. Once it receives the play method, it plays in order the songs in the collection given, which in this case is just one song. So now if we build it, So I've got my iPod Touch hooked up to my speakers here. So select a song. So pretty simply, we created a mini iPod application, our own application, and it didn't really take very much work at all. So just to spruce up our application a little bit here, let's actually go to Interface Builder and let's add a title bar containing the song currently playing. And then let's put some play and pause buttons on either side. So first we need to add a label, center it, make the color white, tell it to be aligned in the center, and then drag this out. And now let's add on those two buttons. The pause button we'll put on the left. Of course, we have some great predefined buttons Apple has provided us with, so we don't have to actually create any icons. Pause and a play button. And now we will go back to the .h file of our application delegate. We want an IB outlet for that label so we can set its text to the song currently playing each time a song is selected. Song label. And then we need two IB actions for playing and pausing the song. IB action play and IB action pause. Now save this and we can go back to Interface Builder and connect the outlet and the actions. Save this. Now let's complete our code. So first, when a song is selected, we'll set the song label's text to be equal to the title of the song. So song value for property MP media item property title. And then let's implement our play and pause methods. So first play, and these are going to be very simple. Player play and pause, player pause. Now we've saved this. Let's launch our application one last time. So first, if we select a song, you notice that in the title bar it says Thriller. Different song titles changed. We can use our pause button to pause the song, play button to play it again. So you can see that it's really simple to create your own iPod application. The media player framework has definitely improved, and I expect to see a lot of really cool applications from the App Store, maybe even some ones to compete with the built-in iPod application. But anyway, that wraps up our lesson on a mini custom iPod application. I'm Anthony from mycodeteacher.com. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you tune into future lessons. Thanks for watching.